Come on, Wes, you gotta do this.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Wes back at you with another video. Today I'll be discussing a demo of this game called Steel Assault. I'm not sure when the game drops, but I hope it's soon. This game gives me the nostalgic vibe from the music, character design, menu, and the difficulty of the game. Okay, let's talk about the controls. The controls, they feel smooth, very responsive, and you can customize them according to the controller that you use. Don't worry, they didn't go super old school on you and lock you into a certain button layout. I know back in the days when I used to play games, or for the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo, some games, they lock you in the controllers and you just had to go. You had to play and that's it. Basically adapt to whatever control configuration that they gave. But luckily or thankfully, not this time around. I guess they knew that we have a lot of new school gamers, and on top of that, old school gamers didn't even like that to begin with. Let's give them the ability to map your controllers, or rather map your buttons to whatever configuration you want it to be. So that's cool that they did that. I know some people are worried about the difficulty. The difficulty in this game it's hard for me to tell how hard the game is. What's easy for me could be hard for the average gamer, which is why when I first played the game, I went to arcade mode, because a lot of hardcore gamers like myself, we play the hardest difficulty, sometimes work our way down, just to see how good we got over time, or just to see how easy the lower tier difficulty is in comparison to the higher tier difficulty. But the crazy thing about it is, I would say the game is a bit above average when it comes to difficulty. But I think the way normal is designed, people should be able to handle the game if they don't want a super hard game. They gave you things like hearts in normal mode. When it comes to arcade, they don't give you any hearts, so you just got to play the game straight up and beat it. The only question I have is that I'm trying to figure out, when the actual full game comes out, will hard mode, or rather will arcade mode, actually resemble how it was in the demo, or are they going to add heart in arcade mode? Only time will tell. And on top of that, do you just have one life and you got to beat the whole stage with one life, and then the next stage you get full life and you start all over with full life, and you got to beat each stage with one life? I don't know how they're going to do this one. I really don't know, so it's kind of confusing. But I ultimately think that the way they're probably going to do normal compared to arcade is they're going to have hearts throughout the level in normal mode, and you have one life throughout the whole stage, and you got to beat each stage with one life. And then arcade mode, you have no hearts, but you just gotta man up through each stage, and after you beat one stage, the next stage you come back with full life. So I think that's how they probably going to do it. Some old school games were like that, so I'm assuming they might do it like that. But I guess it all depends on also the feedback of people who play the demo. That will determine what they're going to do with the difficulty, but only time will tell. Regardless, I'm still excited to play this game when it comes out. Okay, let's talk about the game design. The game has platforming that resembles Mega Man X, Bionic Commando, and some Strider. Steel Assault gives you this nostalgic 80s feel from the enemies, the protagonist, and the overall look of the game. It's a fast-paced action platformer that requires a great deal of reflexes, character control, and awareness. It's very challenging for the average person on any difficulty, and in the right realm of difficulty for the people that are hardcore gamers like myself. The game takes place after a time that people will call the end of the world. Shoot, it has to be the end of the world if the rent is as low as $5 million. $5 million that's absolutely ridiculous. People nowadays, and it's 2021, they complain about the rent is too high. So imagine being alive during that time. Yeah, just kill me now. Just finish me off. That's ridiculous. There are a bunch of different enemies that appear on the screen that test your hand-eye coordination and your ability to control your character. Okay, let's talk about the character. For goodness sakes, the character looks like Mega Man X, Bionic Commando, Strider, Captain Commando, and Ken from Street Fighter 2010 had a baby. Look at him. Look at his arms. Look at his leg. His hairstyle. Look at his chest. Look at all of that stuff. You mean to tell me these kids, all 5 of those characters didn't have a baby and it made him? This character is definitely the baby of those other characters, because the character could zip line, punch, whip, slide, and occasionally jump into like this Gatling gun machine. So I know for sure the creators of this game are probably some old school cats. One of the main reasons why I know for sure that they're old school cats is there's like a lot of Easter eggs in the game, or just level design that resemble games like Contra as well. Talk about the music and art style. The music and art style of the game I noticed that some of you old cats know what I'm talking about, and some of you new cats probably won't know what in God's name I'm talking about. But the music and art style is pure hype to me. It reminds me of Mega Man X, Captain Commando, Strider, and a hint of Street Fighter 2010. I know people like, what do you mean Street Fighter 2010? Look it up. Street Fighter 2010 is this old school game that the protagonist is Ken, and he moves kind of like, it's like a platformer resembling Mega Man. So it's a hint of all of those games. The art style is a hint of Street Fighter Alpha. Like the beginning, the cutscene, it shows you like a little teaser, like it has a little hint of Street Fighter Alpha. So that's cool. During the main game, the music is close or resembles Mega Man X and Captain Commando for sure. The only issue I can see with this game are two things. Number one, people might have issues trying to keep up with the projectiles on the screen, and that seem like they're part of the game's background. The average person might not take kind to that. It doesn't bother me because I'm used to it when I was younger playing old school games. Number two, also I think the developers might have issues knowing how long to make the game stages, if you get lives, continues, checkpoints in the stage, or after each stage. Those are the things I can see being issues balancing for the team. But other than that, I think the game is on the road to a good start, and I highly recommend that people at least try this game out. In closing, I would say if you're looking for a retro, fast-paced platformer 2D adventure game, I would highly suggest you try this game out for sure. I know I'm going to buy the full game when it drops, and I'm sure that every old school gamer that knows about this game will be getting it too, especially if you like games like Bionic Commando, Mega Man, Strider. Games like that, this is definitely the game for you. With that being said, take care people. Peace.